I learned how to reach for my dreams with a shaky hand, and time again, I've seen that once they are in my palms, it makes no difference if I believe that they should be there or not, because here they are, in my hands. I cannot drop them. I've claimed them. They are a gift, and yet they've always been mine. Realizing that you already have everything that you need to be who you are removes the ache of having to become something else and restores the inevitable peace of being you, the peace that is your birthright. It is not a matter of searching or chasing or reaching or attaining, but a matter of remembering, a matter of inner awakening, a matter of seeing that it's all here right now.
But you're awakening already, right? It's already happening. That's why you're here and why you're listening.
Nothing is broken in your world. Nothing needs to be changed. Nothing needs to be different. And yet everything is constantly changing because it is the inevitable nature of that which is eternal.
What I've come to realize in this endless searching for answers is that there really are none.
If you spend your whole life trying to get your act together, then what do you have? You have an act, right? Instead of a life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Figuring Shit Out. My name is Vanessa Fontana. I am your host, and if you're new here, Figuring Shit Out is a space for brave, intentional living designed to help you courageously embrace what you have figured out, to normalize and navigate conversations around what we as a collective are still figuring out or haven't figured out, and to softly surrender to what we may never figure out. The deep unknown truths, if you will. Welcome back. I'm so happy to have you for today's conversation. To start off this conversation, I want to introduce Buddy to all of you. I don't know if many of you know this, but I have this stuffed animal that I sleep with, and that is my deep companion and has been since I was 5 years old. His name is Buddy, and he sits with me in almost every episode, and he's never gotten a formal introduction, and it's episode 117, and I think it's time for his time to shine, truly. I think having like an emblem of your childhood with you as you grow older is such an ode to your inner child, and whenever I look at this thing, what am I saying? My son, whenever I look at my son, this child of mine, I always think about how this stuffed animal has been with me through every hard moment and every single thing in my life and every dream that I've ever had, and has slept with me every single night. And it's really special. Anyways, welcome to Figuring Shit Out, and welcome Buddy to have a seat at the table officially to Figuring Shit Out. He has been my secret assistant this whole time. I'm so excited to be talking to you today. Today's message is so powerful and poignant and has come from really the conversations we've been having over the last few weeks all around seeing ourselves fully and completely, unleashing our shadows, allowing ourselves to sit in the fullness of who we are as a means to really express ourselves in the highest potential that we can. And I want to begin this episode with a oracle reading from my favorite oracle book. It's actually my only oracle book, but as you can see, it's very well loved. This is the 333 Oracle of Heart Wisdom by Alana Fairchild. I've had it since 2021. I got it on my 21st birthday, and it has been such a guiding force for me. And good news, actually, Alana Fairchild, who is the author of this book and many oracle books and angel decks, she is such a beautiful mystic woman. She's going to be coming on the show. So if you guys have any specific questions for her or you love her work, let me know. You can message me over Instagram, or you can comment on this episode and let me know what you might want me to ask her about. I have a few ideas and things that I would love to chat with her about, but if there's anything that you're aching to hear from this divine channel of wisdom that she is, let me know. But I want to read an oracle that I got the other day that sums up this realization that I have had, and also sums up the entirety of the message that is here today, which in my own words is that you don't need to do anything differently in order to be who you've always been meant to be. We'll unpack this deeply, but first let's read the oracle. This oracle is titled, "The Key to Your Purpose is You." To manifest your divine destiny and highest purpose, figure out who you really are. beneath the layers of conditioning, and then be that self as fully as you dare to be. Seek resonance and authenticity rather than conditioned expectations about how things should be, and you will naturally gravitate towards people, places, and energies that will support you in being your bright, true spirit. You have no need to compare yourself to any other, nor do you need to impose your will upon the mysterious workings of life. You are a unique child of the universe with a special path and destiny to fulfill. Much goodness can come of honoring this truth. No one else can assume your role, and neither should you assume, control, or direct the role of another. Live and let live. You will make a helpful contribution toward a brighter future for humanity, and you won't miss a thing that's meant for you. You won't miss a thing that's meant for you. This is so important, especially in this world where we are chronically online and chronically embracing this idea that we're missing something, we're missing out on something, that we're behind, that there's more to do, that there's something to fix, and that something always ends up being ourselves. I really want to lead with this message here today as I re-invite you into the space of dreaming. That is what this episode is. And it came from a humbling moment in my own life where I realized that I was playing it small and playing it safe. And it's always that humbling moment, right? That humbling moment where you realize, oh shit, I've been chasing, I've been wanting, I've been stretching, I've been reaching, and I haven't been being. I've been searching for something that is literally already here, that I already have. And in the illusion of searching, I've lost the connection to it. I've had this moment so many times that it's almost a practiced feeling, this sense of remembrance and awakening. And I know that many of us have experienced something similar. Maybe you have heard something, perhaps on this podcast, that has woken you up so deeply and made you remember the truth of who you are. Maybe it was something that came to you as a sort of sign that you didn't even realize you needed, but it sat right in front of you, or it was words that someone else said, or it was an emblem that you associate with being guided right in your lap, fallen right into the course of your day, that reminds you that you're not alone here, and that you have been co-creating, and that your existence in this life is not random, and that your presence has power, and your acknowledgement of your presence is the most precious thing that you could attune your energy to. The acknowledgement of your presence, the knowing that your presence has power, the knowing that you have power. We forget it so much when we get into this conditioned sense of chasing, this conditioned sense of means to an end as a way of living, this conditioned way of being that tells us to chase and reach and strive and keep going and keep pushing, takes us farther and farther away from ourselves, because it sells us this idea that our true self is found within consuming this, or found within the other end of that, or found when we achieve this, or found when we get to this place in our lives. I saw this beautiful caption from this creator, Megan Bay. She's such a beautiful, whimsical creator. I love watching her content online. She said in this post, I always ask myself, if the woman I'm trying to become wouldn't live this way, then why am I living this way in attempts to become her? Why would I try to create a career that fuels and inspires me by overworking myself to the point of being depleted? Why would I try to create a life that allows me to move intuitively by ignoring my body and rushing the process that wants to slowly unfold? Why would I try to create a life where I can eventually have slow mornings by rushing immediately when I wake up to make the dream happen? I thought I was preparing myself for the life I dreamed of, but I was actually just not ready to put in the real work yet. I now recognize that living an intuitive, energizing, and inspiring life isn't something you're granted after tons of hard work. It's your rightful choice in this life. The question isn't when, how, if. The question is, are you willing to choose what you believe in, even when it's uncomfortable and scary? Because the life you dream of is a result of who you choose to be today. Period. I resonate so deeply with that. I saw that last night, and immediately I knew that her and I were in the same vibrational clicking of alignment, which I think of as this cell that we all live inside of. And inside of the figuring shit out cell, there is this beautiful continuity of when something's coming through me and I can tap into my most honest self and I can allow it to come through me, I know that there are people on the other end of it who are ready to receive it, who are waiting for it in a way. They don't even know that they're waiting for it. And it's the same situation I was just referring to of when you get a sign that you didn't ask for, but you knew that you needed. And it's simply a matter of listening deeply. When you start to get into the alignment with your truth and you start to know what your truth sounds like and looks like and feels like, it becomes really obvious when you're not in it. It becomes really clear when you're pretending, when you're putting on an act, when you're trying to do something instead of doing it, when you are looking at things as a means to an end rather than as the core of creation that is a byproduct of your right to be here. Art is always coveted and contained in something that allows you to commune with it. You have to be in conversation with it, and that requires the depth of presence. And really, that's the core of this episode, is the depth of presence, the remembrance of being, the awakening to the power within you that is so quiet, it's so pure, it's so patient and allowing. It is not this energizing urgency that so many of us confuse with our power. So many of us think that we need to do, solve, fix, figure shit out, when really it is a matter of surrendering in this moment and allowing that surrender to move you into the next moment instead of thinking about the next moment while you're in this one. Without further ado, I think I'm a much better writer than I am a speaker, and I've always been able to convey the things that have been living inside of me with words written first. And so I want to share with you something that I wrote. Surprise, surprise. Before I read this and before I get started, I have one small, teeny tiny request for you, my sweet audience, and the people who are receiving this message. If you love figuring shit out, if you like figuring shit out, if figuring shit out has changed your life in one way or another, has affected you in one way or another, has caused you to remember the truth of who you are once or more than once, the best thing that you can do to create a positive, energetic conversation between you and I is to engage with this podcast. I read your comments. I love them. They literally fill my heart with so much joy. And I'm so grateful that you listen and that you allow this to let you listen to yourself. So if this is something that is part of your routine in any way, or you just found the podcast and you like it, drop a comment, say hi, let me know. This is what made Figuring Shit Out a charting podcast, and what makes Figuring Shit Out a charting podcast, as well as rating the show 5 stars on your preferred streaming platform and following it wherever you get your podcasts. This takes 2 seconds, and if you're receiving these words, it would mean so, so much. So thank you so much in advance for doing that. I am so grateful to you for listening and being a part of this community. So without further ado, allow me to read what I wrote on this topic of dreaming, being, remembering. You know, you don't have to do anything differently, right? These were the words said with wide eyes peering into my soul that caused me to realize I'd been playing it small, that I'd been playing it safe, that I'd been living half asleep. I took a look at the long list of goals I'd written in the present tense 2 months ago, and I could feel the girl who wrote them, all the belief and joy and wonder she had at her fingertips that bled onto this page. I felt so far from these things I once believed as truths, so distant from these dreams that have so lovingly embraced me when I stretched my arms out to them. My life was more or less the same than it had been when I'd written them. It's only been a couple of months, but the thing is, the girl who wrote that list of goals and dreams believed those words, and I didn't. What's different? I'd been in between homes in the last couple of months, and in settling into a brand new space, I was conscious that my body was longing for the prerequisite to expansion: safety. After not having stability and letting my stuff sit in storage for several months, I was waking up every day affirming to myself, I am safe. I am stable, as if my greatest dream was to sleep undisturbed by panic and live in a body that wasn't physiologically prepared to go to war. Many of us who have had a permanent address at the house of fight or flight know that all of the daydreaming and goals and joys of life are well and good, but when you're just trying to get to the end of the day or the end of the week, they feel like outcries of pure delusion. Sometimes playing it safe is our only choice because we need safety. But when is it safe enough to begin dreaming again? The way we did when safety wasn't even a question. You know you don't have to do anything differently, right? It was a humbling moment. One I've had many times over, one that always feels like waking up from a bad dream and realizing that all of this power that lives within me is growing dormant with dust and decay. In this realization, there is a choice, and it's subtle. Decide to do something about it by doing more and beating myself up about how I've been living half asleep, chasing safety when I obviously have it, or decide that in this moment, I can remember who I am beyond the illusions that I've most recently adapted as my normal and restart the engine of belief that lives within me. The desired end result is always the same. Remember who I am. And before I could write a new list of all the ways I was going to step back into my power, the choice was made for me. You know, you don't have to do anything differently, right? When my partner uttered these words to me, it felt like they'd been handed to me from the mouth of God, a subtle nudge that I didn't need to find a change in direction. There was nothing to reestablish or recalibrate. I just needed to realize everything I need is already here. I learned how to reach for my dreams with a shaky hand, and time again, I've seen that once they are in my palms, it makes no difference if I believe that they should be there or not, because here they are in my hands. I cannot drop them. I've claimed them. They are a gift, and yet they've always been mine. You know, you don't have to do anything differently, right? These words rung in my head over and over and over again, and it all clicked. Of course I don't. It's not about what I'm doing. I could be waiting tables or working in AI. I could be creating art or consuming it. I could be dancing or sleeping or working or resting. In all of these actions, I could either be using them as a vehicle to get somewhere or as the tool to remember that here is all that there is, and that who I am in this moment is all that I will ever be. And suddenly, the girl who had written those goals and dreams on this piece of paper that a minute ago felt so far away from me, she came into form inside of the space of my heart. There is nothing to change here. There is only remembering. And that makes all the difference. Realizing that you already have everything that you need to be who you are removes the ache of having to become something else and restores the inevitable peace of being you, the peace that is your birthright. It begins with admitting your dreams, writing them down, watching the pen become a magic wand as they become real, and then speaking them out loud. At first, with a voice that drags the words through stuttered whispers and hunched shoulders. I want is the first step, and then a little louder, and you will see that these dreams have been waiting for you to believe in them the way that they've always believed in you, and the I want starts to become I have, I am, I know. Silently at first, but in calling upon them as an invocation of your knowing, they will give you a little bit more hope than you had before, and you will see that they strengthen with your attention, and you will start to find others with similarly shaped dreams or dreams just as big, and you will create a hearth for this open-hearted being, and you will find yourself dancing with your dreams, and then when you start dancing with your dreams, you begin living them. And all of this can happen in the matter of 1 minute, or 1 year, or 1 lifetime, because you don't actually have to do anything differently. So the through line here is about this quiet knowing. We go looking for the big awakening and searching at the end of every rainbow for a pot of gold that will change everything in us, make us who we want to be. But the ancient yogis knew this, and Jesus knew this, and Every great prophet has known this, that it is not a matter of searching or chasing or reaching or attaining, but a matter of remembering, a matter of inner awakening, a matter of seeing that it's all here right now. This moment that I referred to in that piece was something that occurred when I was reviewing my list of goals and dreams. Me and my partner have been doing this course called Thinking into Results. It essentially asks you to, name what you want out loud and start living like the type of person who can receive it. That's essentially what it is. And it's really special, and it's really special to do with a partner. You're required to do it with someone. And on it is a list of goals and dreams that I wrote several months ago. And it's really special to look at that list of goals and dreams and realize that I can simply choose to see that they are mine and that they are happening now and that this is the life that I am in, rather than seeing them as extensions of me or something that I want to attain. And that took a while. That took a while to be able to see that distinction and to be able to know that that distinction was simply a way of being. It wasn't about doing anything differently. I will say the nuance to this is acting like the type of person you want to be means having habits and actions that align with the type of person who you want to be. But at the end of the day, those habits and actions, they are really helpful and they are really beautiful conduits to the remembrance of who you are, but they're not everything. And you can have all the habits and the actions and do all of the right things and still not feel like the person that you feel you're meant to be or the person who can receive the things you want to receive, because it's not about what you do and it's not about the words you say. It's about the way that you are being. I can sit here and say, follow your dreams want you. But if there is not a part of you inside who believes it, and if you are unable to get in contact with the part of you that believes it, then it's not going to land. It's not going to connect. I like to think about it in this way of realizing that there was a part of us, of all of us, every single one of us, that dreamt. We were children. We were children who had big dreams. We were children who had big voices and big desires and big gifts. And we were either allowed to share them and felt confident and comfortable sharing them, or we weren't. And at some point or another, all of us began to hide something. And reconnecting with this part of you that believes you're worthy of your dreams is simply reconnecting with your inner child. It's simply reconnecting with the part of you that is able to be so hopeful beyond the day-to-day, beyond the physical realm and reality, that is able to see things with rose-colored lenses and glasses. But the power of growing older and reconnecting with your inner child and starting to have this childlike wonder is that you are now old enough to give yourself your dreams. You are now old enough to chase your dreams, to have your dreams chasing you. You are now old enough to pursue the things that you want to do. And when I was looking at this goal sheet, I remember how hard it was to write all of them out at first. It was so difficult to admit what it is that I really wanted to myself. And the more that I wrote them out, the more that I said them out loud, the more that I started repeating them every single day, the more that I started to really come into communion with them and have a conversation with them and explore this part of me unapologetically and shamelessly, the more that they felt familiar and the more that the feeling of them began to sit within the realm of my space. And so when I looked at this list of goals and dreams, it's not like I didn't know what they felt like. I know what they feel like because I've worked to feel them. It's just that I've forgotten. I have forgotten that I actually don't have to do any work at all. I just have to remember. And in the acquainting with your dreams, you're not actually acquainting, you are remembering, you are awakening. You've just been asleep. You've forgotten that these things have always lived inside of you, that the dreams that you have now are not so different than the dreams you had when you were a child, than the ways that you dreamt when you were just a kid. And it's all about reawakening, reimagining, re-remembering. It is not outside of this moment. Anything you want is not outside of this moment. It is here. It is now. It is in the eternal present moment, because this is all that there is. I wrote in that piece about how I had lost the plot a little bit, and I want to add nuance to this conversation because when you are not in a place of safety and when you don't have your basic survival needs met and you don't feel regulated in your body, it is really hard to dream. It is really hard to remember who you are and come into the eternal present moment because your mind is always fixated on what's going to happen next and what do I need to do next and how does now relate to next. And the reason that I lost the plot a little bit is because I was moving, I was in between places, I was dealing with family stuff. There was a lot going on in my personal life that was taking me away from an environment that felt safe and felt regulating for me. And now that I am in a new apartment and I'm in a new space and I have all my things back after them being in storage for a couple of months and my life is more settled and there's just direction and I have a sacred little oasis to come home to and it's my home, I have really been practicing that feeling of safety and reteaching my body safety and reteaching my body stability and reteaching my body what it's like to have a routine again and not have to go from place to place all the time and figure out what's next and not know what's coming in the next month, which is kind of the situation I was in the last couple of months. I have talked a little bit about that, especially in episode 113, Let the Soft Animal of Your Body Love What It Loves. I talked about my relationship to shamelessness and unapology and how I've learned that through this experience in the last several months. If you're interested in more on that, you can check out that episode. But I know this, and many of us know this, when you are in a fight or flight state, you cannot be in a dreaming state. You do need to be able to be fully present. But the thing is, if you're listening to this podcast episode and you have access to a safe, warm bed at home and you have your basic needs met, you have everything you need to have a regulated nervous system. You have everything you need to be able to be in the present moment. And that's not to say that there isn't healing necessary. We've talked about that. We've gone through a lot of healing eras and figuring shit out. I have so many episodes and resources on healing, but we can get really stuck in the healing. We can get really stuck in going to therapy and trying to figure ourselves out and trying to understand every little part of us. And I even talked about this last week on the episode about unleashing your shadows and allowing those to sit free and accepting the parts of you that aren't so beautiful, and how that episode relates to this one is so real because in allowing ourselves to be fully as we are, we come into this acceptance that allows us to be everything, everything that we're meant to be, and everything that we've always been, even when we didn't feel like it. And so, really, this message is, girl, get up. Remember your power. Remember who you are. You don't need to do a million things or complete a list of getting back to your center. In order to get back to your center, you just have to realize that your center is here and now. It exists. Let this episode be what takes you there. Let's take a deep breath together, okay? Presence. We're here, babe, here and now. Look yourself in the mirror. Rejoice at yourself. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Comes back to what is the highest choice that I can make in this moment? What is the most loving thing that I can do for myself that will bring me into my path of knowing? Sometimes it's not a click back into place of, oh, I remember the fullness of my whole being and my power, and now I'm going to go do the thing I've put off for several months. Maybe it's one small step in the right direction, dropping down your shoulders, taking a nice big belly breath again, and realizing that in this moment, everything is perfect. I have everything I need. I'm alive, I'm well, I'm healthy. This world goes on with or without me, but it has chosen to have me in it. I must be here for a reason. I am here for a reason. There is importance in my being, in my presence, in my acknowledgement of my presence. I matter. And if I matter, then that means that there has to be things inside of me that also matter, that should be given to everyone else through me. Everyone else who also matters, because we all matter. And if we all matter, then maybe we're all connected and maybe I'm not alone. One small step. What is one small step? If this episode has woken you up at all, comment what your one small step is going to be. Comment what your highest choice is going to be next. I love you guys so much. I love you. Thank you for listening to this show. Thank you for supporting it. Thank you for letting me do what I love. On the last episode, I talked about how I was hiring. What? I'm hiring? Yeah, I'm building a team. It's time for Figuring Shit Out to take the next step of being a collective web of something else. And I got so many responses on the Google form. Thank you so much. Thank you to every single person who filled out the response. I'm taking it very slow. I am moving very intuitively with it. If I reach out to you or I don't reach out to you, I just want you to know that either way, you're fucking magical and amazing and awesome. And I thank you so much for your interest in being part of this web. The applications are closed at the moment. I will let you know if and when they open back up. And thank you so, so much for supporting the show in any possible way that you have. I just want you to know if you don't hear from me, it is not by any means anything to do with you. It is simply just I got a flood of responses and I am, again, moving very intuitively and choosing who to have a chat with. And I'm not really having that many. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. And I also wanted to add that if you are based in New York City, like me, there's going to be a really special opportunity to join one of my breathwork and meditation workshops very soon in February. I'm working with a wonderful company that I will get to talk to you a little bit about in a couple episodes from now, but I'm going to be doing a breathwork meditation workshop. There are only 4 spots for Figuring Shit Out listeners. The rest of the spots are for the company's ambassadors and people who are going to be part of this activation that I'm doing with them. But if you live in New York City and you want to come, message me the word cure and you will get put on the invite list. This is going to be first come, first serve. So first 4 people who do it are going to get on that list and you'll get information and everything through the invite. Thank you so much. It's going to be in February, at the end of February, and it's going to be on a Saturday. And this is definitely not the last one. I'm going to be doing more of these in 2026, which I'm so, so excited about. Speaking of, I am creating something right now that is all around this creative web of connection that I talk about so frequently, the artist's way and creativity as a method of spirituality, as a channel to spirituality. And I'm creating something that really encapsulates all of these things that will allow for others to have a consistent routine and practice and connection to creativity and mentorship and support with their creative dreams. And I'm really excited about it. I don't want to say too much yet, but if you're interested in that, make sure you are signed up for my mailing list. Make sure you are signed up for my mailing list. The mailing list invite is below. I will get more into details on it in coming episodes, but stay tuned for that. That's coming. It's coming through me. I am currently, for lack of a better word, pregnant with the idea, and it is in its gestation phase. So that is how I look at all my creations, by the way, as pregnancies, where they start as little embryonic seeds that then grow, and you have to be present with them and nourish them and nurture them and listen to them instead of just trying to get them out of you. I could yap all day if I keep going, and I certainly will. So I'm going to stop myself. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. You're the best. I am so lucky to get to do this and to get to talk to you and to get to have this beautiful unfolding journey of figuring shit out alongside all of you who are figuring shit out. I have no words for the gratitude that becomes of me and for how excited I am of this beautiful opportunity in 2026 that I get to continue expanding this. Speaking of, you literally have like a week and a half to book Costa Rica. You have heard me talk about it so many times. I'm going to put some pictures of the location that we are going to be in. They speak for themselves, and talk about inner child healing, talk about inner artist exploration. We're going to be doing creativity workshops, breathwork, meditation. I'm going to be guiding all of these beautiful women into a connection with themselves that allows them to connect with others and see their life as this co-creative masterpiece that it truly is. And I'm not really going to be doing anything. I'm just going to be guiding you back into the remembrance of who you are, helping you peel back those layers. I am so, so excited for this. There is literally like a week and a half left to book. There are still spots. I have $200 off. I'm gonna put the code in the description. So if you want to book, you can book. If you want to chat with me, you know where to find me. DM me over Instagram. Let me know what you want to talk about when it comes to the Costa Rica retreat. I'm so, so excited about this. It's really becoming real. It's crazy that I quit my job a year and a half ago, and now I'm hosting a retreat in Costa Rica because you guys listen to this podcast. Amazing, 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 amazing. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. I love you. I'll see you next week. And remember, if you spend your whole life trying to get your act together, you don't have a life. You have an act, so go and live your fucking life. I love you, and I will see you next week. Bye.
You got to look for the redeeming feature. You got to look for things to appreciate. You got to find a reason to make it okay where you are. No, I've got to strive and struggle and try. That's what I've been taught. Growth and expansion is my quest. No, that's inevitable. Whether it comes easy or hard is the question.
The horrible truth is that it's an inside job. That if you're going to get that love and that respect that you've just that union starts inside.
To every experience of growth, there is an equal and an opposite. And that equal and an opposite is what drives you to that light. So you have to start inwards. You have to start first within yourself.